Sunrise, and here we are, your midweek Wednesday afternoon happening with me, Anushka, and I'm joined by a super duper special guest in the studio, Nikhita Gandhi. Welcome to Sunrise.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here in London.
Yes, we are very excited to have you in the studio. Thank you for coming.
Thank
you
you
for
so
taking
much.
the time out. So tell me a little bit about what brings you to London in the first place.
So I had a show on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing sort of like a little gig at Grosvenor Square.
Yes.
So it was actually hosted by TRF, the Rajasthani Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a post-Diwali bash, and I absolutely loved it. I did not expect so many people of different age groups to know practically all my songs, because like I'm a fairly new artist, and you kind of expect all the people, all the Indians, all the Desis who live abroad to kind of have their discography a little in latency.
Yes, that's very true.
That's
that is
very
true,
and then when I was performing, I think one of my biggest surprises was up to like all my, like even my releases of 2024, like Oh Sajna and all these other songs, everyone was singing along, and I was like, wow.
It's good. It's a good feeling, right?
It's a good feeling.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. I mean, like, I have been wanting to see you live for a while, so I know we were just talking about it off air that you need to do a show here. So hopefully that will happen soon.
Yes.
Now, for our listeners who don't know, dentist turned singer, is that right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So tell us how that 360-degree happened in life.
It's strange because, when I went to dental school in Chennai. That's also where the flip happened in terms of my music career. Like, I always did music, like as a passion, as just like a hobby, and but like right from school. But it was during dental school that I actually joined A.R. Rahman sir's music school, like on a part-time course. And then I started singing in the choir, and then I started singing, like I think he heard me in one of the auditions, and then he started calling me for professional projects like films, and then it started with films in the South, and then some of his international projects as well. And then suddenly, like, I was kind of like studying and doing music, and then I started doing gigs. And then by the end of dental school, I was singing in films, and like I already had a discography of music as a playback singer. So
wow,
it was pretty wild that suddenly like
like, how did this happen? And also A.R. Rahman, tell me a little bit about him. I know we hear his music. He's an absolute icon. He doesn't talk very much. But tell me what he's like. Like,
he actually does.
Does he?
Yeah, I feel
like he's just so quiet. Like,
I think he's media shy.
Yeah,
like,
he's very shy.
Yeah, but I think he's very quirky and like pretty funny when he's comfortable around you. But he's definitely not an extrovert. But I think that if he's comfortable around you, then he's like,
he'll talk.
Pretty
So what's he like to work with?
I mean, honestly, like, I don't think I've ever had the same experience more than once.
Oh, wow, okay.
With him, I think it's. I mean, overall, of course, it is. I think one of the things I really love about him is that he's so, sort of, his concentration is so much in the music and the making of the music, that you don't really get time to process that you're sitting in a room with A.R. Rahman.
Right.
So I think, which is great, because you don't get time to like, freeze.
Yeah.
Because
you just do what you need to do.
You do what you need to do, which is great, because then the work gets done and you don't get awkward and stuff like that. And which is awesome, because I think being such a big superstar and being able to make people feel, at home and connect instantaneously on the music and on the art is why I think he is where he is today.
Yeah, so. for sure. You've also done a few songs with Badshah as well. Now, I'm going to play you Aao Sajna, which really, really took off from Badshah's latest album, Ek Tha Raja. I mean, tell me how that came about for you. Like, what are the little stories behind it? Because I know Badshah, he's quite playful, he's quite fun.
Yeah.
Tell me how that experience was for you.
I mean, yeah, you're right on that. He's pretty, like, he's a fun person, to be honest. And, I mean, he literally, like, he called me one day, and he called me to his home studio, actually. and which had no soundproofing. And then he was like, okay, so let's dub this song, and he had this hook ready of the female hook, and he's like, I want you to sing this, and I was like, bro, you have no soundproofing in this room. It's all gonna echo. And he's like, yeah, man. I'm like, I'm a rapper. Like, I don't sing, so I don't. I mean, it was so funny because he was like, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take you to my friend's studio.
Let's record in there.
I was actually gonna be like, you can come to my studio, or like I'll take you to a friend's studio, because let's not do this like this. And it was so hilarious because he was just like, yeah, मेरे लिए मैं थोड़ी ना ऐसे like
exactly, yeah,
खुल के ऐसे I'm not a singer, so like I'm like, man, you're Badshah. Like, it was so funny though. And the even funnier thing is that we recorded this, and then, you know, we met like a couple of months later, and I was like, hey, what happened to that song? And this is before, you know, any announcements. And then he was like, oh, it's gonna be part of this album that I'm doing, and I just recorded Divine on it. And I was like, what?
Wow.
When did Divine become a part of this? So I just kind of got like news updates from Badshah about the evolution of O Sajna. But I think it turned out to be such a cool song.
Such an amazing song. So I'm going to let you introduce the song, because I'm going to play that now. So introduce it in your own way. You can sing, say, whatever you want to do. Go for it.
Yeah, I think the most badass part about O Sajna is the Dil kya kare jab kisi se kisi ko pyar ho jaye. So that's O Sajna for you guys.
It is 2:30 on Sunrise. You are with me, Anushka Arora, in conversation with singer Nikhita Gandhi live in the studio. So Nikhita, tell me, what would you say has been a turning point in your career so far?
I think everything.
If you had to pinpoint one particular moment, what would you say that would be?
I think definitely my first Bollywood song, Raabta. I think it really took me to a national level, because before that I had sung in Tamil and Telugu, but when Raabta happened, first of all, it was such a crazy big song to start with in Bollywood, and it definitely like changed the game for me, because before that I think I was also I took my career in music also pretty lightly, because I didn't know how much I could sustain. Is this for real, you know, all of that. And then when Raabta happened, and then after that I think it created like a ripple effect for so many other songs to happen. I just realized that I guess this is what I meant to do. And another song, I think that was definitely like the first big milestone. And another milestone that definitely, I think, again took me from like playback singer only to you know, just like singer and doing all kinds of music was when Jugnu happened.
Yeah.
And I think, because Jugnu was like a non-film song that just like was everywhere.
Yeah.
And, you know, with all these A-listers doing the hook step, and it just went viral, and that was my like viral song, you know. So I think that also changed the level, you know, the playing field a little bit.
You mentioned Raabta. I mean, I think up until now, like so many years later, that song still sounds, it has got some next level beauty in that song. It really does. So I think now that we've got you here, if you could sing us a few lines, and we can have a bit of a live session with this song, that would be amazing.
Sure. I wish I had a guitar. Then
I really wish that too.
All right. मेहरबानी जाते जाते मुझ पे कर गया, गुजरता सा लम्हा एक दामन भर गया, तेरा नजारा मिला, रोशन सितारा मिला, तकदीर का जैसे कोई इशारा मिला, कुछ तो है तुझसे राबता, कुछ तो है तुझसे राबता, क्यों है ये, कैसे है ये तू बता कुछ तो है तुझसे राबता.
Oh my God! Wow, that sounds so beautiful, so beautiful. My God! Now, Nikhita, you mentioned that the non-filmy songs and the filmy songs, independent songs versus Bollywood songs. I mean, how do you feel about that? Do you feel that more artists now are doing independent music as opposed to how it was a few years ago? Let's say.
Yes, definitely. There's been like a rise in non-film music. And I think there's been a shift, like from music depending on Bollywood to music kind of having its own world, which is awesome. Because I think India was the only country that was almost completely Bollywood dependent.
Yes.
And everywhere else in the world is just a music industry, right? And I love that it's changing now because, the artist is more empowered than you're usually the face of your music. And I mean, that's going to take some time, but I think we're already in that process, in that change. And so many different artists are just known for their music,
Yeah.
And a lot of them are then working in films after that, just more like because of their brand value and their artistry and their music. So I love that, and I love that I get to be a part of this generation of music. And I think I am evolving each and every year and trying to get better and better and do more and more good work.
Yeah. And do you feel social media has played a big part in that? Because we've also mentioned viral songs, and I think a lot of singers have come out from their viral one song on an Instagram or a TikTok,
right.
And then therefore have made it,
Absolutely,
to a Bollywood playback.
Right.
So how do you feel about social media and the use of it? Are you a big user of it, or?
I mean, I am, and I think it's something you kind of have to use it's sort of like your blog, right? Like your all your updates, everything is on it. And, especially if you want audiences to connect with you and know what you're up to, know where you're going to perform next, what you're going to drop next, even what you're eating.
Yeah, true.
I think everything is, everyone's just living out loud. And I think for an artist, more than just like living out loud, I think what's great is that the discoverability of social media, which is awesome. And I think when we use that correctly, you get to discover so many amazing artists, and they don't need to know somebody who knows somebody to get
true.
there. So
all right, Nikhita, let's discuss remixes, reworked versions of old songs. You yourself have done some as well. How do you feel about that?
I think I love being part of a legacy that's bigger than me. Because I think as an artist, I don't know about for people who consume the music and who listen to it, but as an artist, I think it's such a big deal for us every time we get to be a part of a song that we've grown up to and loved, and and there's something really awesome about it. So I think when these songs are done with that heart and with the right intention, then then really the sky is the limit. And it's also a very cool feeling to have, which I felt also during my last show in London, to have an audience of so many different age groups who kind of know the same songs.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is because of the remix, right? Because when I was singing Ishq Vishk Pyar Vyar, which is my song in Ishq Vishk Rebound, even the people who are my parents' generation and older knew that song, and so did the youngsters. I think that's something pretty cool about the remakes that we get to do.
Yeah, so I guess you get best of both audiences, right?
Right?
So you get the older generation and the younger one as well. Now, when you record songs, sometimes you go in, you record it, and then, there's different versions done by different singers, and then sometimes your one gets selected, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
How does that process work for you emotionally? Like, does that have an effect on you? Does it bother you?
I think it very in the very initial stages it used to bother me, because I also was very new to the industry, so I didn't know what how things worked. And I think with time I realized that it's pretty unidimensional to just get upset.
Yeah.
Because firstly you're singing for, especially if this happens in films, right? So like if you're singing in a film, it's about the film. It's about the script. It's about what's working for for the movie, right? And for what's fitting in that situation. So maybe I sang really well, but that's not the important part. Right? The important part is it fitting? And then there's another aspect to it, which is that, what if maybe I'm getting replaced in a couple of songs, but probably I'm replacing somebody else as well, So I think it kind of balances itself out.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing to do is to not get emotional about, which is hard for an artist to give your heart and soul to a song, and then it doesn't work out. Sometimes the song also doesn't release. The song gets bounced. So I think it's a very weird thing. It's like you kind of have to have this cathartic exit every time. You give everything to the song, but when you walk out of the studio, you pretend I don't know who that was.
Yeah, you have to detach really quickly, and then when it does get released, you're like, oh my god, that's me. That's my voice. Exactly. There it is again. Let's get attached to it. Let's promote it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose so. I suppose you mature as you get to work in the industry. It is 2:47 on Sunrise, in conversation with the wonderful Nikhita Gandhi, whose voice is just out of this world. Your voice is absolutely love having you here live in the studio. So, Nikhita, which music composer would you like to work with that you haven't worked with as of yet?
I have actually worked with.
That's what I was thinking. I feel like you've worked with everyone.
I actually haven't. We were just talking about Vishal. I haven't actually worked with Vishal and Shekhar. I haven't worked with Vishal Bhardwaj as well.
Oh yes.
And I would really love to. I've always admired his films and music, and I've met him a couple of times. We've never really been part of the same project.
Yeah.
I mean, but there are also a lot of upcoming composers. I'm sure the list might get longer. I think once we see more and more people emerging.
Yes, absolutely. Now talk to me about being a female singer in this industry. I mean, do you see any changes? Is it easier? How? Because I know there was this whole conversation around some female singers only get to sing one line of this very male-dominated song. Has that changed?
Actually, it's not really changed. Okay. That's very true though. Most songs have this one line, which has the female part, and for the most part, it's still kind of that. Having said that, I've been a part of the Tamil film industry as well.
Yeah.
And one of my biggest, baddest songs is all female. I've sung the whole song.
The whole thing.
It's for this film called Leo, in which Vijay is the star, and male artist. So it's on a male character.
Nice.
All female song, and it's in English.
Wow.
And it's one of my biggest songs actually.
Yeah.
It's called Ordinary Person, and it wasn't even actually a song in the film. It was an OST theme.
Right.
So I think what the Bollywood does, the Bollywood industry does, I feel like the regional industries kind of undo, which is awesome. I really, really love working in the Tamil, Telugu film industries, because they're killing it. They're killing it globally, actually.
Yeah, globally now.
And I love that they flipped the narrative when it comes to I've actually sung a lot of theme songs, title tracks.
Right.
Raabta was one title track where I had a very big part in the song, but there have been a lot of title tracks where it's all female on a male artist. So yeah, I mean that way I've been fortunate to be part of such songs. But yes, for the most part, there's this tiny little line. That women do.
Hopefully that's going to change going forward.
Yes.
Now talk to me about the new projects that you're working on. Tell us.
Yes. So I mean, there's been a lot of music that's out already. But apart from that, I'm part of actually Bandish Bandits season 2.
Yes.
Which is just about to drop.
Yes.
I'm the voice of the protagonist. And the first song is dropping on the 15th.
Lovely.
So it's literally day after tomorrow, and it's called Ghar Aaja Mahi.
Oh.
And it's a beautiful song.
Can you give us a little teaser of it?
I just know the Ghar Aaja Mahi, and then there's like this whole. I mean, it's not out yet, so oops. But yeah, it's called. Oh well. Oh well. Yeah, it's called Ghar Aaja Mahi, and you're gonna hear it. I mean, I hope you're gonna hear a lot of it in just 48 hours. But yeah, it is a beautiful song. And I can't wait for you guys to hear it. The whole album is beautiful. I'm so happy I got to be a part of this because it's a musical for the most part.
Yeah.
This entire show, and I've worked so closely with it and poured so many hours, so much of my heart and soul into it. And I really, really hope that you guys love the songs. I'm going to be performing it actually in all my upcoming shows, both Ghar Aaja Mahi and the next one that's going to drop, which is called Khamaka.
Oh.
So. A big congratulations to the whole team of Bandish Bandits, and can't wait to make you guys hear the song.
And we can't wait to hear it. Nikhita Gandhi, thank you so much for coming into the studio. It was so nice to have you here. We are gonna sign out with one of the songs that you said that I should play, because I asked you what your favourite song is of your own, and you said that was a bit difficult, and then we finalised on Jugnu. So here it is. Nikhita Gandhi, Badshah, one more time.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you for being here, and we see you very, very soon.
See you soon.
Bye.